Hello friends and welcome. Today we're going to do a quick guide to Shadow Shaman, who I think is one of the better supports right now after 7.36 came out, and I highly recommend you give him a shot if you aren't playing him already. His new innate ability is called Foul Play, and when he would take lethal damage, he will instead turn into a chicken. And so there's a strong dispel when this happens. You can now move around as a chicken or a sheep, whatever your cosmetics are, and there is a chance you can use this to get out alive. Now when you transform, for 0.75 seconds, you can't take damage. For 3 seconds, though, you are a sheep or a chicken that cannot do anything but move, and you have 1 HP. So there's a very high chance you will still be killed, especially if the enemy team has any form of AoE, but every now and then you will get out alive, and maybe you just like escape through the trees, TP out, something like that, or maybe you live long enough to then turn it around on them, Hex, Shackle, and your team can get a return kill or something like that.
Got you.
This passive is so good, guys! Oh my god. I look at my health bar, I'm like, why am I dead? But I'm not! The chicken power. His first facet is called Cluster Cluck. It will allow you to use it on allies, including yourself. And what it's going to do is it's going to hex your own teammate. Hear me out, I swear it's good. You're gonna hex them. They'll be able to move around. They have 10% bonus move speed, but they can't use any items. They can't attack, stuff like that. They can't use spells. So you gotta be really careful for this. Why are we doing it? Because when you do it, there will be 0.1 seconds of invulnerability, which means there is a chance you can dodge damage, such as Reaper Scythe. Can I do this correctly? Boom. Dodged. You also see a bunch of other sheep or chickens will pop out when you use it. So there's going to be 3 chickens. 1 will always run. 1 will always stand still. 1 will have a chance of running or standing still. It's 50-50. And then there's a 4th chicken, which is your ally that has been hexed. So from the enemy's perspective, they don't know which is the real one. When they all stand still, though, like 3 of them stood still, then they know, okay, the real hero is somewhere here because only 2 are supposed to stand still at most. So this kind of balances out the ability so you don't confuse them every single time and always get away. It's like a balancing part of it. But like in this case, if PA was moving, they wouldn't know. Is it 2 of the random sheep are moving and 1 is standing still and the hero is also standing still? Or is it 2 sheep that are standing still, 1 of them is running and the other one is a hero running? So if you get lucky, it will have that split. I would recommend you guys move anyways, like if it's yourself, because you're hexing yourself, or they activate Foul Play and there we go, right? Then they don't know which one is real. I recommend you guys just always run because the sheep, like, if you stand still and 2 of the other sheep stand still, they may not know which sheep is standing still, but they know it's one of you and you're standing still, so you're not getting away. If you run and 3 sheep are running, even if they know you're one of the running sheep, they don't know which of the running sheep you are, so they might chase the wrong one and you get a chance to live. So I would recommend you guys always run unless you want to really go for the next level bait and just try to stand still and trick them. But you have no idea what your sheep are going to do. So like in this case, I did stand still and it worked out. But other times I would stand still and 3 of us would be standing still and then they would kill me. So it's up to you guys how you want to use it, but it is cool. It works on Foul Play when your passive activates, or you can manually use it on yourself. There's also a dispel component to it. So if your hero or your ally gets totally screwed over by silences or some other kind of ability that you can basic dispel, then Hex will do that. When the transformation ends, it will have a basic dispel, not a strong dispel. Only your passive has a strong dispel. When you use Hex on an ally or yourself, it is a basic dispel. Your second facet is that instead of 10 serpent wards, you get 1 giant serpent ward. I like the idea, but currently I don't think it's good enough. So for example, here you can see that we have 10 serpent wards. This is 1 giant serpent ward. This has 10 times the amount of damage. So if all of these attack 1 target, or this attacks 1 target, it's the same damage. This has 7.5 times the amount of HP, so you can see a lot more bars. The benefit here is that when the enemy attacks like twice, your DPS starts going down because you're losing Serpent Ward. So now you only have 8 things attacking. Whereas this giant Serpent Ward, you have to attack it so many times to get it killed, and it's all or nothing. So you get the full DPS the entire time until you lose all of the DPS all at once. So that's like kind of cool. But ultimately, if you use your ult in a way to get a kill, like, oh, we're going to kill Necrophos, so we do something like this, he can't kill any of the 10 wards anyways. So I don't think it matters that it has a bunch more health. Or if you're pushing a tower, you kind of expect that your Serpent wards might die. And sure, this like lives a little longer, but you're kind of getting the chip damage either way. And I just think that Cluster Cluck has way more utility than this giant Serpent ward. If they add something to it, like it does more damage, or maybe it can move very slowly, something like that, then I think this starts having more value. But currently, I think Cluster Cluck has way more utility. Plus, you can trap heroes with Serpent wards like this. When they don't have phase movement, they can't get out until they kill your wards. You can't do that when you only have one giant chicken ward. So I feel like this giant Serpent ward is not good right now. Well, it's not better than Cluster Cluck. We're going to cover item build and skill build in a much briefer way than usual, since this is more of just a highlight. Try out Shadow Shaman. He's good right now, and kind of expect the meta to shift as we get more patches to like fix some of the broken stuff like this. So I don't want to go too much into detail. So to keep it quick, the build you see here is a very good default, especially if you're looking to be a little bit more active, which is one of the ideal ways to play Shadow Shaman. So 1 point Ether Shock used to secure range creeps while harassing the enemy, ideally. You don't need to spam it too much. Shackles, so level 2, level 3, after you harass them down with your auto attacks and Ether Shock, this is what allows you to try to kill them. When they go a little bit out of position, they walk into your tower, you got a creep wave advantage, or your core is like Ursa, something like that, who can just like kill and you just need to lock them down. That's what Shackle is for. Feel free to take a point in Shackle early if you think you can get like a first blood with your team, but otherwise this is a great start. And then you're going to max Hex because it has damage amp to it, and it's much easier to use than Shackle. 3 seconds of Shackle is kind of enough. And 4.2 can be great, but you can also be like stunned, silenced, and then you don't get much value out of Shackle. But Hex, you just press it, boom, full value, you get 25% damage amp, and it brings the cooldown to 12 seconds. And if you agree with me, you're using Cluster Cluck, then now you can use Cluster Cluck at a lower cooldown on yourself or your allies. So this is kind of what people will typically do. Take your ult any chance you get, drop it on towers, ideally for the first couple of ults, but once the tier 1s are down, if you use them for kills, that's perfectly fine. If you use it for kills anyways, like also kind of fine, but try to use those kills and then take objectives. Mass Serpent wards is really good for that. If you're in a more passive game, or you're just looking to farm up more and be greedy, you would see more points in Ether Shock early. I'd say like 2 is pretty common to see even in high rank games, but potentially maxing it out. You could do this if your job is to just hold a tower and you just need to like clear waves, then maxing Ether Shock will be your best ability for that. Potentially you guys are losing, can't get kills, then like there you go. Or if you are just trying to be greedy and farm up, this is probably your best skill for it until you can get the shard. But I would recommend that this is the better build because you will get a lot of gold when you get kills on enemies like with this skill build, and you won't really need to farm with Ether Shock, especially if you plan to buy the Aghanim Shard at 15 minutes, which is still a good item for this skill build, and it helps you farm. Talent-wise, the Hex damage is great for kills. Shackle duration allows you to lock people down for like 5 years and let your teammates kill them. That's kind of like why you're picking Shadow Shaman. Hex is extremely good versus some heroes, but sometimes it's not that relevant, so you can go ahead and take the Serpent Ward's max HP, but this is a good default. And then at 25, this, if you're that late into the game, you're hopefully pushing towards Aghanim's Refresher, if not having it already. And in those cases, you want that to be as powerful as possible, so you're going to get the Serpent Ward damage. If you have been mega'd and you're just like sitting in the base, then you can take Ether Shock to like hold more. For your items, your base attack is really high, so you win most right-click trades once you actually get to that point, but you're short range and you're slow, so you take a lot of chip damage. So if it's a good stick game, go ahead and grab it. It will give you more mana to use your powerful spells, and it'll also give you health back that you've been like chipped away at. If they are like a long-range hero that you're not afraid to get up close with, and once you're next to them, you're winning that trade, you'll see a lot of win laces on Shadow Shaman. You can also use it to keep your distance from like really scary melee heroes. But in those situations, you often just see Shadow Shamans sit in the lane next to their core so that you have the safety of being next to your offlaner, and you can potentially just shackle the 4 support, like the melee support you're scared of, as they come in close, and your offlaner can help you deal with them. And in those cases, or if you just need to survive and shackle, they don't have stuns and silences, but they'll just kill you. You can get Circlet to tank up and let your partner core like Ursa, Monkey King, like Slardar's in the off lane, Legion hit pretty hard, like those types of heroes, you're just there to like shackle and like please hit them, right? You just need to live. Circlet's good for that, or it just gives you even more damage to like poke away at people. Expect to buy another set of tangos or a salve, if not more, because again, you will take damage even with the heal from your shackle. Like you just take a lot of damage as a slow short range hero, so don't be afraid to buy more regen. Mangoes and Clarities, you don't really need to start with it because you should not be spamming your Ether Shock for damage. Just use it to secure range creeps, and that means you kind of get by. But once you have enough for the combo, the shackle, the hex potentially at level 4, right, that does use up a lot of mana. If you didn't secure the Lotus or it's just working, you get kills, feel free to buy more like Clarities and Mango so you can keep doing it because it's a good combo, so just have the mana to do it. Because your spells are expensive and because you want your teammates to be active with you, Arcane Boots are great, like Wand, Classic Support upgrade. Blink Hex, one of the best initiating tools in the game. Plus, you want to be in a really good position to shackle, so you're at the least danger possible. So Blink is great to pick the best position. If you want to be a little greedy, Shard before or after Blink is great. It gives you more cast range on Serpent Wards by a little bit, but the bigger thing is that it summons 4 Serpent Wards for 6 seconds, which will help you farm. This is kind of why you don't have to max Ether Shock. You can go like the normal active build and just buy an Aghanim Shard ASAP if you want to be greedy, or get it later. It'll give you like the farming speed. Like just use Shackle on a creep wave. You can cancel the Shackle right away. The Serpents live the 6 seconds anyways, so you'll farm with that. If you don't need to initiate, you just need to like hex shackle from further back, especially in situations where you're like sitting with a sniper, they have to come to you. Cast range can be good to just like chill. You don't usually have to get both Blink and Aether Lens. It's usually like one or the other, but it can work together, especially if that's like you just need to catch certain targets. So you could get both. Otherwise, like just general support items, especially ones that you can use while shackled, such as Glimmer and Ghost Scepter, or like you use it, Ghost Scepter, like use it and then you start shackling, compared to like some of these other items you can't really use while you're sitting there shackling. It's the same reason like cast range helps you, so you can stand further back, and it like passively helps you while you sit there and shackle, which is disabling the enemy, but if you think about it, it kind of disables you too from using your active items. So you'll see stuff like this. If you just need to remove one hero from the fight, like PA, enemy PA, doing really well, everyone else is garbage. You could get a BKB, Blink BKB, Hex Shackle, can't be stopped except for like BKB piercing stuns. So you can just remove one hero from the fight for forever. Otherwise, like as you go in the late game, Aghanims, Refresher, that's like the classic combo. Then like what other support items you want, feel free. Neutral items, anything that helps with your mana in the early game is great. And beyond that, like survivability, cast range, mobility for a slow hero, like all really good. All right, that's it. I know we kind of like rushed through the end. There's less detail than in other guides, but I kind of want this to just be like a quick highlight. Check out these heroes before they're patched. So let me know what you think of this style. This is more specifically like because the patch is here with so many changes. In the future, I will go back to like the longer detailed guides, but we're going to try this out because the patch has like an insane amount of changes in it. So thank you for watching. Let me know who you would like to see covered next, because I'm going to try to do this, I don't know, daily. We'll see how much time we have, but we'll try to do a lot of these. So let me know of any heroes you're interested down in the comments and I'll try to get to them. Thanks. Bye.